everybody. Welcome to Chainout Podcast, Episode 3, Gyropalooza Edition. With you, I'm Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Darryl.
Hello, everybody. How's it going, Jeremy?
Going well, Darryl. How about you? How you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. Can you tell? My voice is. I'm not. I got that bit of a sexy Barry White voice going on, I think.
Oh, you say sexy Barry White. I was thinking maybe a little Phoebe Buffet smelly cat voice there.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, this week has not been a good week for me. I contracted COVID again. It's my second time having it, but 2 years apart. So I had it early on when it first came around, and it's still out there, folks. It's not gone away. It's not as bad as it was, I will say that. But I mean, that's just my personal experience. Your mileage may vary. It was a little bit, it's mainly a cough and a cold. The first time I had it, I had body sweats. I had my muscles, joints, hips, everything ached. Pretty rough all round. This time, just a cough, runny nose, stuffy nose, couldn't breathe, hard trouble sleeping. But that was just about it. But took some time off from work. Definitely don't want to spread these germs around to anybody else. So yeah, I'm getting over it now, though.
Well, good on you for stepping up to the plate here and doing a podcast while you're still in recovery mode. And I'm glad it wasn't as bad as it was that first time.
That's how much this podcast means to me, Jeremy. I'm willing to sacrifice my own well-being.
Oh, good on you. We got to give the listeners what they want, and that's more DJs. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I would say I if we're going to talk about ailments and stuff, not like well, I guess we are the mid-40s guys, so we can talk about that stuff and maybe let people know that we are human just like everyone else. But no, for me, I got to see Pursuit in Motion Physiotherapy, Tristan Pisco over there. He's a really good guy, and I've been suffering. My elbow's been hurting a bit, and it turns out it's just an overuse injury. I've been kind of gripping the disc too hard, and I've put some tension on my on whatever that spot is where your tendons all come together. They all come together, point all your muscles in your arm, and it's tennis elbow essentially. But what he did say is he said I caught it quite early, and that's good. So he's given me some exercises and a couple different things like that. But the most important thing is he said I didn't have to stop playing disc golf. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Is it something that is it like an injury that you just need to work on the muscles and tendons and strengthen them, or you don't have to change your whole throw? It's not something that's going to get worse over time?
Well, from the sounds of it, I'm sure people listening who have had it or whoever, people out there have all different experiences. For me, I'm an optimistic guy, as you know. So what I've been told here is that it's something I've caught early enough. Maybe don't grip the disc as hard. Don't really curl my wrist in. I don't think you're supposed to do that anyways, but sometimes I tend to do that. So you put all that pressure and you curl in. So it's one of those things, do some exercises. And it's probably come at a good time because we're done the main part of our disc golf season. Like, I'll have winter league and that, but I'm not going to be going out 3-4 times a week, multiple rounds. It's going to be 1 or 2 if I'm lucky. So that should also help with the recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe that's just the way that the injuries, if you're lucky, you kind of get injuries at the end of the season. So then you've got the off season to recover from them. It would suck to have this injury in April, May, and then have to take it easy in the beginning of the season. So, yeah.
Well, and we've even seen that with the pros, right? With Eagle finally doing his elbow surgery after, I think, from what I understand from listening to everybody talk, it's been about 2 years, and he's
shoulder
finally
surgery.
Shoulder, right?
Yeah,
he did shoulder surgery. Yeah. So he did that here in the off season, is expected to be back. And if he comes back with his forearm again, that'll be crazy. But
yeah. Is that what you're hoping, is that when you come back after the off season, after you repair your injury, you're going to have an Eagle McMahon forehand? Is that what you're hoping?
Sure. And his backhand. I'll take anything. I'll take his putt. I'll take the way he ties his shoes. That's probably better than the way
I'll take his bag at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So I think tonight I really want to focus on Gyropalooza, and we'll get to that, but because I think it's going to take up the most of this episode. So anybody listening, if you want to jump, you can jump, because that's what we're going to focus a lot of our time on. But I'm still loving talking about the courses like we have in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So I thought this week we could talk about my home course, and there's going to be a lot of the sound home in this because it's my home course and it's called Langholm Park. So
yeah.
So
I think that's a really good course to, in our progression from the first two courses that we've looked at. I think this is a natural progression into staying in that category and looking at, those type of courses first before we maybe go on to other type of courses in the Edmonton area.
Yeah, and I would agree. So by those type of courses, you mean, what do you think?
Beginner park courses, maybe. Maybe not park courses. I mean, maybe they are park courses that we've played, but community courses, is that a fair? They're definitely more open to the public. A lot of beginner players are more likely to play these courses than some of the bigger courses, the full 18 courses that we have in our area.
That's true. And what I think we should do is just to give everybody a little bit of an idea. So Langholm is out in St. Albert, kind of in a northwest suburb of Edmonton area, for those of you who aren't familiar with the city. And it's actually the suburb that I live in. So this course is quite close to me. It's the one that I first started playing on. It's the one that I guess reintroduced me or officially introduced me to disc golf. And with that, just checking UDisc, I've played this course 182 times. Now, keep in mind, it is a 9-hole course, so a lot of those rounds, 161 of them were 9-hole rounds. But I think we should have you, Darryl, kind of give your opinions of it, because I got lots. I could talk about this course forever, but you just recently played it for the first time. So why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I can just give you the bare bones, the quick flash, or what are the Coles Notes version of what I thought of it, because if you want to talk about rounds, I guess we played 4 rounds. We did 2 9 holes to start off with, and then because of the weather and because of the time that we got out there, and it was a good opportunity for us, we ended up doing 18 holes of glow round as well. Mm-hmm. So that was a good experience as well. So the first time I played it, it was an interesting course. It's probably, there's some good and bad about the course comparing to the other 2 courses that we've played. First off the bat, there are no tee pads. Right. You're going to notice obviously when you step up to the first tee. It's in a park area. It's flanked on different sides by a soccer field and a baseball diamond. I wouldn't say it's a shared use area, but they're kind of nearby.
Right. Yes.
It's given an overall description of the course, I'd say it's very well laid out. It's definitely more trees than any of the other 2 courses that we've played. It's definitely more compact in that way. A lot trickier than the other 2 courses we've played. I think it's going to rank up there in difficulty. I know last week we spoke about
Jubilee.
I forget, green square, blue diamond.
Oh yes, you got
blue
it. Yeah.
Triangle.
Green circle, blue square, black diamond, double black diamond.
Black diamond. So I think this is probably in the blue square or what's the middle one? Blue square?
Blue square.
Intermediate? Yeah.
That's
for me, I would call it a blue square course. So if you're calling the other ones green circles, then this is definitely a blue square.
UDisc doesn't think so, but I'd agree with you.
Yeah, it's compact. A lot of the tee areas and the baskets. So I wouldn't say a lot. There's a few areas where the tees and the baskets can be close together. So if you're standing on a tee pad of, I think, is it 4 or the basket of 4 going on to the tee of 6.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, you're close. Yeah, there's
area. There's a few areas where when you're on the tee, just keep an eye out behind you, or at least have somebody there watching, because someone's approaching to the previous hole's basket. You could be coming across onto the tee pad area.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was very well laid out for the amount of space that it's. I don't want to say confined to or cramped into, but laid out on. Definitely good holes, very well protected by the trees around the basket area. I would say there's quite a few aceable holes, not that I've had any of those, but they are there. If you've played it enough times, I'm sure you've probably had a hole in one on this course.
I have. I wouldn't shut up about it, I'm sure, while we were going around there.
But no, yeah, it was interesting to play. I mean, the first time I went around, I think was the first 9 was my best round. I think the second 9, I think I started to get a bit cocky and thought, oh, I know the lines now. I know where the gaps are. And maybe I was hitting them, maybe I wasn't. Become the third and fourth round, the two 9-hole, the two 9-hole glow rounds that we played. That was definitely a lot more difficult for me because I wasn't so aware of the the overhanging branches and things like that. And I know
And you
we were
couldn't
lucky
see
enough.
them either, right?
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah. But we were lucky enough that when we would get up to closer to the basket, one of us would run up, and you had a great flashlight that we would. In the end, we started to mount on top of the basket. It definitely illuminated the basket, so well for us, and we were able to find that, you had a bit more of a landing area, so that was great.
Yeah, we got some great pictures from that too. Probably the best pictures I've seen of any that I've taken in the glow round, or that you took them, but they were great pictures.
Right.
So
yeah, well, you took, you had some good ones as well on your on the Facebook group, and we uploaded them to the chainout _ podcast on Instagram as well. So go check those out.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I thought it was a well put together, good beginner course. All of the holes I think should be reachable. I think it's all a par 3.
yes,
With experience, you know where to play and how, which shots to play and with forehand, backhand. So definitely a great course if you're in that area. I would recommend it highly.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you felt good about it, because it being my home course, I played it, a lot of times, and it's a place where I can actually, in the morning on a weekend, I can go for a walk, get to the local Starbucks, grab a coffee, and then walk over to the course and play a couple rounds and walk home, and have a good day of 5 kilometers worth of walking or something like that. Like it's just perfect that way, especially when the weather is good. But yeah, so a couple things I would add is, yes, there's a lot of holes that are shorter distance. Nothing's really longer. I'm just on UDisc now. This is according to UDisc. It says longest hole is hole 3, which is 279 feet. And then everything else, the shortest hole is about 170 feet is what it says. So it gives you a bit of a round. I know in league we've played out there, and we've had 1-disc rounds, and some guys have actually chose a putter as their 1-disc. When I did it, I used a hex. Surprise, surprise. You'll hear me mention the hex all the time. But
good,
I've had
good multi-disc.
Good multi-use disc. Yeah. It's good to putt with, as long as you're 5 feet away from the basket, and then I find it great to putt with. So, but things about the course I can add too is that it was designed during COVID by Nick Legault, who's he actually runs the Nor'Western League that I participate in during the summer. Now, he designed it when he first did. He pitched it to the city. The city said, "Yeah, we'll let you use the space. Why don't you find a way to make a temporary course?" So he put some, chloroplast signs on little aluminum spikes in the ground, and then he hung Home Depot orange buckets, hung them from trees. And that was the original layout. And at that point, I never played it. I just saw it, and I'm like, what the heck is this thing sitting around here? And then eventually, after the few months or half a year, whatever it was, the city said, you know what, we'll give you a little more money. They bought some baskets, installed them, took the buckets down, and then it became a course. And at that point, my wife and I went out and threw regular Frisbees and tried it. And then, of course, like everybody else, then you start buying discs, and now you got tons of discs and you play all the time, right? That I think is probably the very common path for a lot of disc golfers, right?
And then you start your own podcast, the way that it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, maybe we're taking it a little further, but yeah, you got it. So the one thing about Nick is that I think he was a disc golf before that, because why else would he have jumped into it? But what he did when he designed the course, what I noticed is he made a lot of different shot shapes and shot options in it. So for 9 holes, to me, when I go out to play it, I play 1, 2, 3, 4 forehands and 5 backhands. That's how I play that course. So it really gives you that chance. And some of those ones you can play other shots, right? You can throw a turnover backhand, whatever you want to do, but it gives you a chance with the trees and how they put the baskets. a real chance to try some different things. So
yeah, no, I enjoyed our time out there.
And I have to mention too, you said ace, so yes, this is my second year disc golfing. I didn't have any aces my first year. I've had 2 aces this year, and one of them was on hole number 1 at Langholm. And if you do get out there, I feel it was a very respectable ace. I think every ace is respectable, but my first ace was on a very, very short hole. Mosquito flew up my nose. Didn't really feel like I earned that one the same way. Felt like I got lucky. I had to give credit to the mosquito for that ace.
Right. Yeah.
But this one here, it was a nice little hyzer shot right out of my hand in the basket. It was good. So
yeah, it's not an open hole by any means. You know, you've got trees on the left off the tee, you've got trees on the right if you go straight, and the basket itself is protected by trees as well. It's protected by trees if you go long. It's protected by trees on the short side. There is I think the shot that you played, I think is the perfect shot. You got to play the high hyzer, or the hyzer around just to get it to go near the basket. So it's not an easy shot.
Thanks there. Make me feel even better, Darryl.
There you go. That's what we do.
That's, yeah, for sure. So if you're heading out there, number 1, you can look for an ace. Number 3, I don't even think you got a chance. But number 5 would be the other one, a nice little short forehand. It's the one hole with a Mando, so keep that in mind, because I don't know if you'll really see that on any signs. There isn't a lot of signage at the course. There's really just, like you said, dirt tee pads with some starting signs, but they've got regular good baskets that they catch well. But yeah, that's hole 5 there. When you get to it, you're going to see a dead tree that leans up and to the right, and you got to go left of that tree. That one is, if you got a nice little forehand, you can kind of bring it in and maybe get a skip ace or something like that. I've seen actually a number of aces there, but just the one that I've had. But great little course. Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to, where does it rank on our Edmonton area disc golf power rankings?
Well, let's
refresh. What we're calling it?
Edmonton area disc golf. Yeah, power rankings, like disc golf course power rankings. How long do we make that sentence?
Let's workshop it. We'll come up with something that can roll off the tongue.
That's right. Well, let me refresh everybody. So we've reviewed 2 courses so far. We've reviewed the Hills.
Yeah. And I guess if you want to call that my home course, but
yeah, it is Darryl's home course.
I've kind of adopted it as my home course now.
Yes. And then also we've played Jubilee out in Spruce Grove. So this is our 3rd course we've played and reviewed, being Langholm. I have Jubilee as my number 1 right now. I have Hills as my number 2. You have the opposite. You have Hills as your number 1, Jubilee as your number 2. So where do you put Langholm now?
You're going to put me under pressure first, hey?
Of course.
I don't know. It's
if you want me to go first, I'll go.
No, it's just a little bit unfair, I think, for me to rank it. I've only having played it 4 times, and 2 of those rounds were a glow round. So I didn't have the greatest experience. I mean, it was a great experience playing a glow round. It's my first glow round. I got to use my new glow bag. Out there with you playing disc golf is always a good time. The result on the course wasn't so great. I think did I beat you on the first round, and then you kind of whooped me. You kind of taught me a lesson the next 3. I think, or did I not win the first?
No, you did win the first one, and I don't think I whooped you. I think I just started to play the shots that I knew, and then in the dark I still knew them, and maybe that's muscle memory or something like that, right?
Yeah, there you go. So for me to rank it, let me try and think how I would rank it based on just the 4 rounds.
Well, let me stop you. I will remind you that you only played Jubilee three rounds before we ranked it. That was all in one day too.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got my ranking.
All right, you go ahead.
So at number 3, we're sticking with Jubilee.
All right.
At number 2, we're going to go with the Hills.
Oh.
And we're going to go Langholm at number 1. Just because I like the Hills. It's a fun practice course to go with. It's good on, it's got the variety in the elevation. There's a few different shots, mainly just backhand hyzers, but there's a few forehand shots if you want. There's a few hillsides to play onto, which kind of, gets you to learn to try and sit your disc down on the hill and not have the runaways, things like that. But the variety, you definitely need longer discs at Langholm. It's a lot more difficult, even though it's a shorter course. It's only 9 holes. It forces you to play. It's a tougher course. So on that, and it's laid out better as well.
Right. Well, you're not going to get too many arguments from me here, mainly because I'm going to be a bit of a homer. And I think I'm going to actually feel like I'm contradicting myself a bit. So last week, I put Jubilee over the hills because I said Jubilee's got some further disc shots and you can play different shots. But I also hyped up a lot of its potential and possibility with them developing the back nine in that. But with Langholm, I'm ranking it my first. So I'm going to have Langholm's Jubilee and then the hills. And my main reason for that is I just love those shot shapes. I like the fact that I can go out there and play a quick round and feel challenged. And even after playing 182 rounds there, I'm not bored of that course. I've not figured it out 100%. Maybe I've figured out where I want to go, but I can't always put it there. So there's a few holes, hole number 3 and hole number 6, which you actually, for me, I'm pulling out more of a fairway driver or a longer disc, and I'm still learning to control those in a way that'll get there. So to me, this course, it's got some potential, and they've talked about maybe making it a permanent course. And if that is agreed to by the city, I could see them maybe putting some turf tee pads like they did at the new Kingswood course in St. Albert. So
I think you made a good point there. And if you look at the hills, especially Jubilee, if you're throwing an up shot to the basket and you miss your line, you're still in position because it's so wide open. There's only a few holes maybe that if you get out of position, you're behind a tree or an obstacle or something like that. The hills, for the most part, if you're throwing, your landing area is circle 1 or circle 2. There's not too much area where you can't really throw off target. If you're hitting your shot, you should land where you want it land. Whereas at Langholm, if you get off the fairway, that you could be stuck behind trees. You could be on another fairway. It's less forgiving.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there's 2 things I'll throw to close my comments off on Langholm, and one of them is a cautionary thing for this summer. So this would be a knock to the course. That's right. I'm knocking my home course, guys.
That's good. It shows that you're honest.
Yeah. So
you're not biased.
No, not completely. So what I will tell you is there are 2 or actually 3 holes that can become a problem in the summer, usually in that May, June area when soccer and baseball are going on for the kids. Baseball isn't usually a problem. There's not a lot of organized baseball at the little baseball diamond in this park, but the soccer field is definitely used. So what happens there is in the summer, if there's a kid's soccer game going on, you can't play hole 9. It's just not able to because the soccer net is close enough to the fairway that I'm afraid you'd throw on, and that's not what we want to do. And also, too, a lot of kids are running around and maybe parents are setting up their lawn chairs watching. So keep that in mind. Same thing happens if on that odd occasion there's a baseball game. Hole 4, you can't throw. Hole 5, you can't throw. So that is definitely a limitation of the course. But then on the other side, the other twist of that soccer field is if there's no one playing on that soccer field and you don't have a huge arm, like you've got that 250-foot arm that I've got if I'm lucky when I can throw one that far, it's a great place to throw some discs and practice some form. So you can either do that before or after a round and get that going. So that's nice. And then the last thing, I know I said 2 things, this is 3, but the last thing is in our Nor'Wester League that I play in, that plays at Langholm, there is a back 9. Now this back 9 is not on UDisc, and it's for a reason, and that's because there's 1 or 2 holes that if there are people out on the course, a lot of people, you can't really play this back 9 just due to the positions of those second tee pads. But if the course is open and you happen to show up there, you could ask anybody you see on the course, say, hey, do you know about the back nine? And then if it was me or any of the other guys, we definitely show you around and give you a chance to see what else that course can do after you played the front a few times.
Is there a secret handshake that goes along with that as well? You have to kind of do you know about the back nine?
I think what it is, I'll tell you, it's a secret code word, and it's grande skinny vanilla. Oh, not skinny, grande vanilla latte iced. That's what it is. Grande iced vanilla latte. You show up with one of those, that's the secret password.
I thought that was going to be one of the reasons why you liked it, is the fact that there was a Starbucks nearby.
Yeah, well, and if you're a Tim Hortons person, it's the same distance the other direction.
There you go. Yeah, I guess it is.
Get your double or get your Americano, whatever it is you want, right? So
yeah.
Well, shall we move to the Gyropalooza part of this?
You move to the what you've all been waiting for. Yeah. So we both kind of, we were talking about it when it first dropped, that they were going to, the date for the Gyropalooza was going to be coming out this year. Mm-hmm. And then you had decided that it might have been a better option to go in on it with somebody else.
Well,
and you offered it to.
Let's just stop there. Let's rewind this.
I was getting to that point.
All right, then let me let you go. You go.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought, being that you and me and our good buddy Mark, we're good friends, and you'd experienced Gyropalooza before, which I want you to talk about, I thought, hey, there's 11 discs. There's 3 guys. Maybe an easy way to piece this one out is that we all go in together and we each get 3 discs, and then maybe we do something fun for the last disc and either do a little closest to the pin or a competitive round or something like that. But sorry, I should let you continue.
No, I was just going to, and that's the point that I was going to make. In the beginning, you thought that it would be great for 3 of us to get together. Yeah. And it is a good in theory that, because I think when it first came out, we didn't know what discs were going to be released, or if we did, we weren't too sure on the other ones, and we didn't really know. And just from my experience, when you try and divide that many things, it doesn't necessarily have to be discs, between 2 or 3 people, someone's not going to be happy, or someone's going to take everything, and then it's going to be, well, I wanted that. Well, I want that too. Well, what do we do? Because everybody wants that one disc. Maybe there was going to be a time lapse in there, or whatever the case may be, that who was going to get that one golden snitch, as to throw it back.
Yes.
So I kind of bowed out at that point because I wasn't actually sure if I was going to get it. So I kind of stepped back a bit, and you and Mark decided, well, now we've dropped the loser. Let's split it between the 2 of us ourselves.
No, there was never that. There was never a feeling of that, for sure. But I think, you were probably right. But you were like, I'm not going to get this. And then what did you decide?
Yeah, no, I think FOMO took over then. I think once you decided that you guys were going to get it, and I had no ill feelings. There was no animosity or anything like that. Just make that clear, that you guys were going to get it. And like you said, I had the Gyropalooza 2022. I think part of what I was thinking that I wasn't going to get it was because when I got the first, well, I say the first, but it was the first one that I got. I know they did a 2021 as well. Was the fact that out of that first box that I got, being a beginner disc golfer at the time, that was how I first started into disc golf. Was I got the Gyropalooza box only because when I first started, I was looking at getting a 3-pack of a starter set from Innova, whoever it might be, and then I found these 5-disc mystery boxes online. I thought, oh, that might be good because then I'll get 5 discs. And then I just happened to stumble across the 14 discs Gyropalooza, get a wide variety of discs, and I thought, well, that's it for me. That's like a starting bag sort of thing.
So last year it was 14?
Last year it was 14, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, keep going.
So the downside to that, as with any mystery box, is there's always probably a couple of discs in there that you don't want, you don't need. And that happened to me because in my box last year, I bagged a Relativity, a high-speed driver, a Dimension, a high-speed driver, a Motion, I think it was the other one I got, which was too fast for my arm or just too overstable, and a Panic, which is another high-speed driver, a beefcake of a disc. So out of those 4 discs that I just was never going to throw them. So now we're already down to 10 discs.
Right.
So that initial price per disc works out to be good. But when you take out the 4 discs that you're not going to throw, now you're spending that money on 10 discs.
Gotcha.
And then maybe out of those 10, and then the 10 that I had included 2 waves. I had a Lab second wave, which I still have in my bag right now. And it also included an MVP open stamp wave, which I lost in the water and never to be seen again. So there was 2 of the same disc, 2 10 or 11 speed discs, which really I probably shouldn't be throwing, but they're at my limit of my arm speed, I think. So realistically, you could say 4 to 6 discs that out of the 14 that I shouldn't be throwing for a beginner anyway. So that is why I was a little bit wary about getting it again this year, because since then, obviously, me and you both, we've signed up for PDGA memberships. We've gotten our MVP discs. We've shopped at Gander Disc Golf, and we've picked up a few MVP discs and bags or disc swaps. And however else we come across these discs, we have quite a few MVP discs in our bag. Mm-hmm. So my other concern was that I might end up with discs that I've already got.
Right. Well, and I think too, first of all, as you said, MVP discs and anybody, I think everybody knows, right? Gyropalooza is a disc box. If you don't, it's put together by MVP Axiom. And I don't know, is there Streamline in some of them? Yeah, yep. Streamline is one of their companies. I just didn't know if Streamline made it into all the boxes or not, but maybe into some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and in honor of our Gyropalooza night, behind me on my wall is all 9 of my Axiom MVP discs. So
nice.
I'd already
I didn't notice
before we started.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. Oh, give you a little look there. Yeah.
Oh yes.
So with this one too, I think what might have been different, because this was my first opportunity to go into it, and in Canada here, and in our area, the cost on the Gyropalooza box was about $160. Is that kind of? I think it's what.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 160, 165. So roughly $15 a disc. And I looked at it. I got 9 already, but this is probably my favorite manufacturer at the moment of discs. I throw a lot of other discs as well, but probably more of these than any others. I like them for my forehand especially. And with that, I thought, well, 11 more discs, that's probably too many for me. So that's what had me thinking about.
So what did you say?
I know. Can you believe I said it? 11 more discs is too many.
Too many? No, I don't understand. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry, carry on.
Maybe it was my partner speaking in my head there. I was thinking of what they might say if that was the case.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I thought 11 more discs. So then that's when I thought, okay, well, if we all split, it brings the cost down and it spreads them out. That was my initial thought with it. At the end of this, and we'll go through them and we'll talk about what we feel about them. But that was the way I approached it. So we both bought our Gyropalooza packs from Gander Disc Golf. So shout out to Gander. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
You should probably plug too, is that if you want to see an actual box opening, our listeners can go and watch one.
Yeah. So I just did my box opening. With me being sick, I didn't really want to sit down and have to record a video and set everything up and make sure everything was good. So I went live on my Instagram channel and on my YouTube channel. If you want to go to Deejaydiscgolf on Instagram, I'll put a link in the description. And I had a few people watching the live stream there. It was a bit of a good time. And yeah, you get to see what discs I opened.
Yes, and you got to see it, like you said, is live as you did it and see your excitement with it. Now, I tried to do one for our Chainout listeners as well. I'm familiar with Facebook Live. I've done it before, but something happened with it where maybe I didn't wait long enough. So There is no record of it. I did do it. I was also doing it for my buddy Mark, who was sharing the Gyropalooza box with me, because I wanted him to see every side, see that it hadn't been tampered with, and make sure he knew exactly what was coming out of it. And that was part of the reason I did it. But again, that video is lost. So you and I have both opened our boxes. But what I thought we could do is we could kind of show the discs we got, and we put them in a special order here, guys. So what we've done is we've taken, as you said, there was 14 boxes 14 discs in the 2022 Gyropalooza box.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Go ahead.
There was two guaranteed discs. There was the prototype proxy, glow proxy, and glow envy. Those were the two guaranteed discs in the first box.
So you knew what
or the
two
2022.
Were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody knew what two were, and then the other 12 were who knew what it would be.
Random. Yeah. It turned out that I had an MVP Open Stamp Hex and MVP Open Stamp Wave. So I guess those were kind of like the Pro Shop discs that we got in this box. I don't necessarily think it was marketed that way, but that is what I ended up with.
Well, and maybe they took that feedback for this year because, they reduced the number of discs to 11. That probably also made the cost hopefully different or more affordable for everybody.
Yeah.
And then
but in that box, I just had the two glow discs. They were the two guaranteed discs, were the two glow discs. None of the others were glow. And I know in this box, we definitely got a few more glow discs. So whether glow is more expensive to manufacture, and obviously, you put in 2 extra glow times 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 boxes, it kind of adds up, right? So, but yeah, they definitely added a few more than just 2 extra to glow discs. We got a few glow discs in this box.
That's right. And so what they did was they let everybody know of 5 of the 11 discs this go around, and and so we'll show those 5 first. That's our plan. After that, they said there was going to be 2 Pro Shop discs, so we'll show those 2 discs, and then finally there were 4 Lab seconds. Now the one thing, we'll save that for later. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but why don't we start with that? And because these first discs are glow discs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the lights out here so you guys don't have to see my pretty face, and I'm going to glow up my disc, and then I'll show it on my camera in the dark. And then if you show yours, I know you've got a little bit darker background, but you've got the light there, and you show it up to the light. And then I'll turn my light back on as we go through the other ones. So let me just get the lights out here. Ooh, that's still the ring light, so we're going to kill that as well. Hopefully I can see enough in the dark. All right.
Oh, that is totally black.
That's much better. Is that what you were saying?
Okay. There you go. Now we can at least see that you're still there.
Yeah. Well, what I've got is I'm glowing up this first disc. So why don't you tell everybody about that disc while I do it?
So which one are we going with first? Are we going with the glitch first?
Yeah, let's go with the glitch.
Yeah, let's do it in that order. Yeah. So the first disc that I got, I had a 161 glitch. I forget what the name of the plastic, the glow plastic is.
Is it Eclipse?
Eclipse plastic. Yeah. So there you go. One thing I think that we did that glow round, and where am I going? We did the glow round, and I looked at I had a few different glow discs from MVP and from Castoplast, but MVP really does glow discs good, I think. They glow super bright.
Well, I think so too. And the one thing, I don't know how my light looks. We'll keep it on. I'll turn it on and off. This will be interesting.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the one thing that I really noticed about this glitch is that the glitch that I have behind me, and I know you have one as well, we were talking about it earlier, is they were more in the 140, 144 gram range. So they're a lighter disc, and they were great to throw, but if the wind caught them, it was a little different. I haven't thrown this one yet, but it's 160 grams. So they found a way to give the glitch a bit of weight, which I think is awesome.
Which is kind of what the Watt used to be. They said they marketed the Watt as a max weight glitch.
Right.
But now they've managed to make the glitch, a kind of a max weight, that 160. I don't know what other weights there are out there for it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, let me get the next one going here.
Okay, I'll quickly grab this one and remember which one this is.
Okay. If you get
20...
stuck on one, I've got a little list here, so that might help
I
too.
got it. So
Okay.
this one with the nice rainbow foil on the live version here, and a nice glow rim on Jeremy's. This is the Envy.
Yes.
Nice. And I said it on my live stream, and I'll say it again now. MVP really know how to do stamps well.
They do, for sure.
Like,
and
you see a lot of stamps that they can be kind of almost kind of muddled on themselves. It's kind of almost like a silhouette or an outline, and it kind of becomes a bit hard to actually see what the stamp is. But these digital Gyropalooza 2023 Envy, like I say, with this rainbow foil stamp on it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, get a little twist there, because this one's got that rainbow. It looks so nice. And of course, these are good ones. And one of the things that was kind of like maybe a trade-off too, a little bit, because you've got the glow rim. This one was a green glow that you could see there, but it's also made out of that R2 plastic, which is, I guess, a great thing environmentally, because they're taking all of their extra plastic and then using that to make this R2 plastic. So it is a recycled one, and it's going to be interesting because I don't have any R2 discs. So we'll see how that works when we take them out to the field.
Yeah, that's what I had last year. I got a Nomad last year in the R2. I didn't know it at the time, but it was in the R2 plastic. Yeah.
Okay. What did you find when you threw the Nomad? How did you feel about that plastic?
Well, for me, I felt like it was too smooth. Like, it was a lab second R2. So there was no foil on it or anything like that. But these definitely feel that they've got more grip to them. I don't know if it's the Eclipse in the overmold there in the rim.
Right.
But even feeling it underneath, and these are obviously haven't been thrown yet, so they haven't gotten dusty, they haven't gotten wet and beat up or anything like that. So maybe they might get a bit smoother over time, but I like the way they feel at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move to the next one. Going dark.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is another glow disc. It's another R2 plastic with the Eclipse rim. This is the Hex.
And in this side here, we've got it with a green glow again.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you've had a chance to have a look at all your glow discs yet, or whether any different color rims were in any of the mystery boxes, or.
Well, I'm not sure if I didn't really notice anything on any of the other posts that I've seen this past couple days, but maybe these ones on the R2 were all green. I'm not sure, but this one's green, and we'll see. So that's two out of two have a green rim that I've got here. So now this one here, what did you think about this stamp?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not too sure. Like, I can, the main feature of this one, obviously, got a little saying up in the top left-hand corner: "I am not a robot. I am a disc golfer." But I like the color. I like the purple and the blue. I like the gold in there as well. All the zeros and ones. I'd be interested to see if anybody tried to put this together and figure out that it's an actual secret formula for making. I don't know. It's probably just random ones and zeros, but.
Well, I found there is a binary converter where you can put that information in it. It'll convert it into
I did
characters.
Just notice on the right-hand side, there's a padlock and it says top secret.
Oh, that's true. And I see on the left, when you look at the folders, like, I haven't looked at it this close. Yeah, but you've got like Simon for Prez is one of the folders.
Yeah.
For
Final
Mike.
version 8.
Yeah, so I wonder what some of these types of things are. Throwgyro.execute. You know what? I think we might have just discovered something here.
Maybe. I mean,
if we go throw_gyro.execute, are we going to download a virus, or are we going to download something cool?
Or MVP have hit it out of the park, and they've made this so that people are going to try and rack their brains and spend all this time trying to work it out, and they're just sitting back laughing, thinking it doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe they're. I don't know if I've revealed this on the podcast yet, but yes, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. She's famous for putting Easter eggs and stuff in her videos and in her album covers and all of that.
Right.
So maybe the MVP people and Simon and them are Taylor Swift fans. We'll have to find that out.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 3 of the discs that we knew were coming. So the third one,
Yeah.
I'm turning out the lights. Go for it.
Yeah, the third one, it's another one that I had in last year's, and I think we've both gotten quite a few of these now. This is a Crave. Crave is a very popular disc with MVP. Kind of, I don't want to say it's their flagship, but it's kind of a staple in anyone's bag, a Crave and a Hex. We're nicknaming this one the Twin Skulls, the Skull Boys.
Well, actually, if you look right down in the bottom right there by the Gyropalooza, it's called a Skull Boy.
Skull Boy, yeah.
Yeah. So that one there is another, for me, it was another green rim.
The green
glow rim.
Another green glow rim, yeah.
Yeah.
And I do believe that each of these stamps were designed by a different person.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That was cool. And the Crave is good. That's a disc that I enjoy. Oh, you know what? It's funny. I pulled the disc, the Crave, away. I showed it up in the camera there, but when I pull it away, it almost looks a little bit bluer. Yeah, no, it's a blue. It's a blue glow instead of a green. So yeah, they did change the colors on some of them.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So then the last disc that we knew about.
Yeah.
Do you think we're okay? I'm okay in the dark.
Is there another disc that you want to glow up, or I don't know don't necessarily know if you need to glow every disc. We've done the ones that.
No, I think we've done it well. Yeah, I'm going to turn the light back on.
Sounds good. So the one other disc that we did know.
Sorry to everybody, you can now see me again.
Yeah, the one other disc that we did know that was stated on the box, and it was very well marketed that we knew that we were going to get. Is a James Conrad special edition disc.
Yes.
And he kind of, I've seen his video on him talking about it, and he said that he wanted something just a little bit understable than the Hex.
Right.
And this one, I got it in a nice aqua blue color.
Mine's in a nice green.
Yeah.
Let's try to get the light out there.
Detour.
Yes, the Detour. And the numbers I've got written down. So it's like you said, just an understable hex. It's a 5.5 -2 But I just love this stamp. I think so far out of all the stamps they put on those first 5 discs, I do really like the glitch stamp with the alien on it. But this is just a cool looking stamp with the guy playing with the truck.
Yeah. On the billboard there, 2023 Digital Gyropalooza, James was here.
Yeah, you got that.
And then I just noticed, if you look at the, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look at the license plate on the truck, it says, I love Jay.
I heart Jay.
I heart Jay.
And then the little alien, of course, has got in this, like almost like a little bubble beside him saying "vroom," just showing that he's playing with the truck. So, well, I really love, and this green came out nice and bright. And all the ones I've seen online, the colors were really good. Like, do you like your blue?
Yeah, I don't mind the blue. I've seen a red one as well. I have a dark red disc. I don't think I have any bright red discs, but then I don't think I have any of this color either. So, I'm all for bright colors. Obviously, beginner disc golfers and things like that. You always want a disc that you can find when it goes off into the longer grass. But yeah, no, I really like this color.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, well, that takes care of the 5 that everybody knew they were getting. So if you're disappointed with those 5, that's on you. You knew you were getting those discs.
Exactly.
But I was excited to see all of those, and they look just as good as advertised. And like I said, is that bright green I'm happy with. Your blue looks really good, and I haven't even seen it in person. But then after that, we got a couple Pro Shop discs, and those were random. We didn't know what they were going to be.
Right.
So what we did was I got, in the pack that we got, Mark and I got, there was a kind of a mid and a little bit longer mid, I guess you could say. So we put our shortest one next, right? So So let's go with that.
Do you want to reveal
yours? I'll reveal first. Okay, so this one is a really sweet looking disc. So wait till I show it to you. But this one is an uplink. and it is a 5.5 minus 3.5. I don't have one of these in my bag. This one is going to Mark. He's a lucky guy who got it. And it says banana and waffles on it.
That's a cool stamp.
Yeah, it looks really neat. And I was trying to get some more information, and I don't know if any of the listeners have it that they could share with us, but I don't know a lot about the banana and waffles discs, but it seems like there's a number of them, and there's like the fresh banana and waffles or the squishy, but I don't know. I didn't do enough research, but there's something to it. So this was a really cool disc, another bright green, and 168 grams. So that's cool too. What did you get for your first one?
So I actually do bag an uplink. That was one of the first discs outside of my Gyropalooza box that I bought. I went back to Gander Disc Golf to buy my first disc and didn't really know what I needed or which, where I was going with it really. And the assistant in the store said that she is new to disc golf and she really likes the uplink. So that's what I bought. And I think it's really good as a beginner disc because it's so understable. But now that I'm a bit more advanced than a beginner, I'm not going to say I'm advanced. I'm more advanced than a beginner.
Right.
I just use it for those shots where I can't use a forehand. So it's that understable for me that it'll be that right, guaranteed left to right fade.
Yeah, I could see that in those early days when we're always throwing hyzer, it would flip up probably for you. But yeah, go ahead. What did you get?
So it's funny that you were mentioning about MVP and Axiom in these boxes, and you weren't sure if they had Streamline in these boxes because this is a Streamline disc.
Oh, okay.
So
I like that look.
Yeah. So this is my Cosmic Neutron Echo.
Okay.
So I do bag an Echo already, and I really like it. For me, it's my straightest flying disc. It's a mid-range. It's 5.5 minus 1.1. I'm generalizing there. This is MVP, so it might be 1.5 negative
yes.
or negative 1.5, 1.5, but 5.5 negative 1.1. Mine not such, just got the Pro Shop stamp on it there. But obviously the thing that sets this disc apart from anything else, I think I like that color. Like you said, it's got the pink, kind of a purple, gray, and green in there.
It seems to have a real good gloss on it too, right? It's got a real locked in shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I really like that disc.
Okay, now the second Pro Shop one that came in my box, it was a resistor. Let me double check, make sure I got that right. Yeah, it's a resistor, and it's just a pink one with a little MVP foil silver logo on it.
Right.
So it's pretty good. When I wrote down the numbers on this one, it was a 6.5, 4, 0, 3.5. So to me, that felt like it was an overstable Crave with a little less glide to it, is what it felt. Now,
so
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the other thing I was going to say about this one, it's a nice pink-y purple type disc. I have a number of discs this color. I find that they're easy to see. They're different. If you've got a whole bunch of discs in an area, you know immediately which one is yours for the most part. So I like that. But this was the one where I first, I saw like some of these discs might have a little bit of imperfection, that type of thing. But this one was interesting because it had a little, and I don't know if you can see it there, but a little bubble on the overmold.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. First time I've seen that on a disc, but hey, that's part of what comes with this. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. So that is funny because one, maybe two discs that I got from last year's box, obviously being new to disc golf, I didn't know what was an imperfection and what wasn't an imperfection. I didn't know what to look for. Obviously, we know that in the overmold in the edge there, in the parting line and things like that, you can feel the injection point where they so that I don't know if you feel a little bit of that, if that was part of the lab second, or whether that should have been filed down perfectly smooth. But I think now that we know that we've thrown them a few times and different discs, that that's just a natural thing. That obviously they got to have an entry point to where they put the disc in. But I did have a couple of my discs had that little bubble in the end as well, and I didn't know if that was what the imperfection was. But obviously we know that any of these imperfections in these lab second discs, they're just cosmetic. They're not going to change the flight of the disc at all. So for my second Pro shop disc, which is interesting because you had a pink one.
Yes.
So I also have a
Ooh.
pink one. Now, this stamp, it's going to be a little bit hard to see because you have to get right up close to see it. But right down at the bottom there, right in that little circle, this is actually a Matt Dollar Team Series 2022. So MVP Tour Pro Matt Dollar, MVP 2022. And it's actually a little bit strange because this one actually has almost like the factory label still on it on the inside.
Wow, that's interesting.
And I'll read what it says. It's Rack 2, Shelf 6, Box 8, if that means anything. It's a Matt Dollar 2022 Team Series Pink 163, and it's an octane.
Oh, it's an octane. Okay.
Yeah, not so much a midway or a mid or a fairway. This is I believe this is like an 11 speed. No, maybe a 13 speed.
Yeah, 13.5, -1.2. Don't tell me why I know it off the top of my head. I might be revealing something coming up in my other discs. But
yeah, but yeah, it's pretty. You know, the stamp on it there.
It looks nice.
Nothing like I would have seen on any other MVP discs.
And has it got like a silver shine to it? It kind of looks like.
Yeah. It's a kind of a black background with a silver. What they call it, double stamped. So black background, silver stamp on top.
Gotcha. Okay.
Two-tone look on it there. Yeah.
Nice.
I've never thrown an octane. It's going to probably be outside of my arm speed, but I'm interested to just take it out there and rip it and see. Maybe I might fall in love with it. You never know.
Well, the thing I think now too with us, Darryl, is that now that we're throwing a little bit more and we're beyond that real beginner stage and just getting out of that beginner stage and into the next part of throwing, we might be able to use those higher speed discs as guaranteed hyzers for us or something like that. So it'll be interesting to put that one out in the field and see what it does.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 4 discs each left. So let's hit those next. So again, we're doing this from the slowest disc to the fastest disc. So my first Lab Second, and it's got that new Lab Second logo on it, which is the shattered test tube. That's how you know it's a 2023 or Beaker. Yeah, Beaker. Yeah. And this one here is another Envy, is what it is. But it's a glow Envy, and it's a complete glow Envy. Yeah. So this is another one that Mark is taking. He's got a good, he's got a nice Envy here to go with. And I don't know if there's much more to say about that. It's a nice putter disc, and I already bag an MV, so I like it. It's got a little bit of overstableness to it, so it kind of as you approach it at the basket, you'll know as that putt it's going to come and fade in. So
well, my first Lab Second disc, and this is what I got a lot of last year. The old Lab Second stamp on it.
Right. Yeah.
But this is a disc that I did bag in last year. This is one of the guaranteed. So last year it was the glow proxy, and this is just a regular electron proxy. I think it's electron.
Is that two colors of blue?
Yeah. So it's I don't know if you can really see it. It's a darker blue on the overmold.
Yeah.
There you go. That's probably a better way to see it. A darker blue rim with just the plain blue flight plate. Yeah. Overstable again. I don't necessarily I think it's overstable. Actually, I don't know now. I'm thinking about it. It might be -10. Might be slightly understable.
Because I think the Envy is a 0.2. So maybe the proxy is a little under.
I think it's -3. I think it's 3.3 -10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do have the glow proxy, which I don't really use at the moment. This one, I don't know. Maybe it has a little bit more of a nicer feel to it. So we'll see. Maybe now that I've got a few more choices, maybe I'll start, as we always do, or as I always do, kind of switch up my bag a little and see if that has a place for me in the bag.
Well, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking the fact that we're going to have so many Axiom Streamline MVP discs, we should do a round where we just bag them and that's all we play with and just see. So we could get prepared when they decide that they want to sponsor us. We'll know whether that is a good fit for us based on
exactly
a round with only their
discs. We'll be able to tell them already which disc we want to pick.
That's right. All right, so moving along, got 3 left each. We got another crave here. So there's not a lot to say about this one. It's a black crave. I guess the thing about it is that the Lab Second logo is kind of really faint because it is in black. And then it's got a white rim, but it's not a glow rim. So
yeah.
And a crave, we already know crave is a real popular disc for that for the company, and a lot of people bag it, so it's not a bad disc to have.
Yeah. My third disc, talking of popular disc, it's probably arguably their best-selling disc, or in and around that crave area. This is my full glow disc, so it looks kind of white, but it's a full glow disc. Has the new Lab Second logo on it, but it's a hex.
Oh, okay.
So this means this is now my 4th hex.
4 hexes you have.
Because I have my MVP Open hex that I got in the Gyropalooza last year. I have a Lozado Halloween hex that I bought this year. I have the Gyropalooza 2023 hex, which we already showed in the beginning. And now I have a full glow hex. So I have 2 full glow hexes if you want to count the Lozado hex, and the glow rim hex, and an MVP Open hex. So
well, I guess, what do you say, right?
Maybe I'll need to throw them a bit more and find out, because with the pros and all that, they tend to have 2 or 3 of the same disc. Beat in, one's overstable, one's understable. So maybe I can do that with the hex.
Well, I think the one thing about that is throwing. We talk about all the different discs that we have, and you have a different disc for a whole bunch of different shots. Well, we've already talked about some of the courses that we play that so far that we've talked about are all park type courses. There would be nothing wrong with us having the same disc and learning how to throw different versions of it. And that's another thing to play with as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, down to 2 discs. My
2 more.
Second last disc is an Octane.
Oh.
So like you had an Octane, this is my Lab Second Octane. It's I guess that's a Cosmic. Is that what they call that one?
Yeah,
with
that's
the
Cosmic Neutron. Yeah.
Cosmic Neutron with
the swirls.
Swirls. Yep. This one here might be a little tough in some sort of times of the season because it's a very bland color, like a pale green
mint.
With like a mint with some dark green in the Cosmic part of it there. And
I think that would be okay in the summer, because I think it kind of mint green almost stands out, kind of almost like white on camera there. I don't know how light it is, but I think it should be okay to see in the summer. I don't think you'd be throwing that in the winter so much. I think that's easier to get lost in the snow.
Yes, that's a good point. I'll be putting a lot of long ribbon on that one and fastening it tight with duct tape.
So my second to last disc, and I quite like this one as well. It kind of goes with my Echo from earlier. But
yes, it does.
Yeah, Candy Cosmic Neutron. This is a Volt.
Gotcha.
So, do you have a Volt?
No, I don't.
No, so I have a Volt. I had a Volt. Either I had a Volt last year and I threw it and I lost it, or I still have the Volt, but I don't throw it because it's green, and it's a dark green, almost like a khaki, camouflage green. So it's just a disc that I don't throw because of either I don't have it, and that's why I don't throw it, or it's not a good color. So this one, I think I'm interested to throw it a bit, get to throw this one a bit more, because I think I did like the Volt, because I started disc golf in the winter, so I was throwing it then anyway because it was on snow. So either I lost it in the snow, or that's why I used to throw it, and I haven't thought about getting another one since. But if my memory serves, I think the Volt is 8502, somewhere in that.
That's a nice.
It's kind of kind of in that mid to fairway driver range, or a higher, longer, higher speed there. So, but yeah, the nice green with the orange and the purple, or orange and the brown, whatever it's showing up on camera there.
Cool.
Yeah, and the black rim on that one.
Okay, well, now we saved our last discs here, and I know this is the part that people might be waiting to find out if we got our Lab Second time lapses. I don't want to build up too much suspense on this because there isn't a lot to be suspenseful about, at least not on my end.
Exactly.
So what I've got is a green. No, it's not a time lapse, womp, womp, womp. But what it is it's a relativity. So a relativity, and I don't know if anyone other than a pro can throw this thing, but we're going to find out when I take this out, or when it gets, actually this one's Mark's, I believe. So he'll find out when he gets it out there, but it's a 14.5, 5.5, -3, 1.5. But a 14.5 speed. I don't even know if I knew they made them that fast.
Sorry.
No worries.
Just jump. I'm surprised that Mark took that one, because I had a relativity in my last year's Gyropalooza box. And
no, he didn't take it. Sorry, he took the octane. I've got the relativity.
You've got the relativity, because we did a swap for the relativity, because he took mine. So it kind of made me wonder why he would take the second one. But yeah, so I did have a relative, and I was just checking, because one of the other discs that I got in last year's box is a 14.5 speed, 503, a dimension.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure which one that Mark took was the dimension or the relativity. So yeah, he took my relativity from last year's box. You're stuck with the relativity this year.
Well, the only thing I can hope for, Darryl, with it is that it's a -3. Now, if I can't get it up to speed, that -3 probably doesn't mean a whole lot. But if I can get somewhere close, maybe I can get it flat for 5 seconds before it tanks to the left.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Like I always say, there may just be one hole, or one, in a super windy day, or, one type of shape that you're in, and you think, well, I just need, because one other thing, I don't know if this is just my way of thinking. I know I'm going off a little bit. I'm not even going to say it. My last disc. Sorry,
all right, let's do that first.
Let's finish this off first. My last disc. You said you didn't bag the time lapse.
No.
Hey, neither did I.
You had me going there.
No, mine is an orange disc. It's a high-speed driver. It's one that I've actually never heard of, and going through all the different, I'm always looking on different websites and things like that, thinking which driver can I get, what different disc can I get, what if I find one that will fit my needs. But I've never heard of this disc before. This one is a teleport.
Oh. Well, maybe it just magically showed up for the first time.
There you go. Yeah, just a plain orange. I think it's got a little bit of a swirl in there, but not a lot. So I'm happy with the color. If again, I was lucky enough to have Calvin from Gander Disc Golf on my live feed when I was doing my unboxing, and he put the speed in the chat there, and I think it's another 14.5, or it might be a 13 speed. I think it's 14. And I believe it's something like 14.5 -1.5, 2.
Okay.
So fairly neutral, but like you said, if you're not getting it up to that 14.5, then it's just going to dump left anyway. So, but I'm interested to throw it. I'll take it out to the field. We'll take them out there, and we'll throw them and see how they go, and then put them back in the shelf, and maybe they're going to be good disc swap discs, or
that's a good point,
or something else that might be coming up soon that I don't know if you want to talk about it tonight, or we can talk about it next week, because we'll have received our discs then, and also we will have sent our
good idea. Yeah, good idea.
So we can talk about that next time. But
so
that was our 11 discs.
Yeah, there's our 11. That's what we got. Maybe share something that you got. But what I wanted to do now was just talk a little bit more about Gyropalooza, because I got a lot of thoughts on it. And I don't know if we got enough time for all my thoughts, but let me throw some things at you. So first thing I wanted to say was that I was happy with it. I'll throw that out there. So I'm just throwing that out there. I was happy with it, but I didn't find that maybe everybody else was necessarily happy with it, and I had some thoughts. So we saw the day before the boxes actually were dropped to the general public, Simon Lizotte posted a video and did a box opening, which Simon Lizotte does anything everybody's watching, right? And that's why he's even though he's maybe not the best or the GOAT or however you want to word it, when it comes to selling discs and marketing discs, I would say that's where he gets his GOAT status at this point for now. So
absolutely.
But with that, he did his disc opening, and you and I had bantered it around and talked about it, you, me, and Mark, would there be time lapses in these boxes? Could there be? And I think I threw it out to you and I said, do you think there'd be like a lab second time lapse in these Gyropalooza boxes? And what'd you tell me?
I said no, I don't think there's going to be. I think the marketing, when you looked at the kind of the screenshot, if you want, like the marketing of the what you could get, the disc that was always on the front was that color of disc that you see, that was the prototype that you see Simon throwing all the time. And it was, in my mind, it was kind of you know, I don't want to say that it was trickery or anything like that, but you see a disc, you think of a disc, you see another color, you think it's the same disc, but it was just marketing that they put that color on the front. And I thought, they're so new into selling these discs. They want to sell the prototypes. They want to sell the first runs. They want to get as many of those full price discs into people's hands. I couldn't see them giving away lab seconds to, why would someone go out and want to buy a time lapse if, I just bought a mystery box and I got a lab second one.
Right.
So I didn't think they were going to include them. But
then Simon goes and he opens up his mystery box on a live stream, and sure enough, he gets a time lapse in his. So I'll tell you, that put a lot of excitement into me that, wow, it is possible there could be one in there. And like a kid at Christmas time wondering what you're going to get, it gave you that same curiosity and excitement that it might happen. But then, in the case of your box and my box,
I did hear other people have been bagging them. So it's not that it was only the, MVP gave a special box to Simon to open because everybody would watch it and everybody was going to be thinking that. There are people that did bag or unbox time lapses in their Gyropalooza boxes. So I don't think everyone, it wasn't a guarantee that everyone was going to get one. There were definitely enough out there that it put the word around. So it wasn't unfathomable that they were included. Yeah.
Oh, and I wouldn't say that by any means. I think what it did is it added some additional excitement, and there's a lot of people who were probably pretty happy with having one in there. So I do think that was a good idea for them to do that. But I think maybe a lot of people were thinking there could have been one in there, and then they were just setting themselves up for possible disappointment when there wasn't. Like, I saw one guy online who bought 3 Gyropalooza boxes. 33 discs he bought. Like, what is that? But I saw that
33 discs and
15 are the same.
Same, yeah.
3 copies of 15, maybe just a different color of detour each time, but otherwise it was the same. But then the other thing I saw a lot of people do too was immediately yesterday and the day before, I was seeing as soon as they opened them, they had posted them up for sale. I was seeing them on all the sales sites and pumping them right back out there. And I guess that's fine, if that's what you wanted to do. But the thing, what I didn't like about what I was seeing was people complaining about what they got in the box. And to me, it was like, okay, let's think this through rationally. There's 5 discs. You know what you were getting. If you didn't want those 5 discs, then don't participate, because that's the 5 guaranteed. So you should be happy to get those. And then the other 6 are a bonus. But if you're thinking of MVP, Axiom, Streamline, they've got all of these discs that they've sent out to the stores to sell, and they've got discs that are left over. If nobody wants to buy them, this is a way for them to get rid of them, is the one thing. And another thought to it is that you've got beginner disc golfers, you've got amateur intermediates, you've got guys who are pushing towards that pro or that upper level amateur. You've got all of these ones, but how do you know who's going to buy them? So it's not like they could have went and thrown, we're going to put a lot of nice short easy discs, and that way Jeremy and Darryl don't get the teleport, the relativity, the octane, we don't get them. But what about those guys who can throw those discs? If those weren't in the boxes, they don't know. They have to put a selection of discs that can cover every person who might throw them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I could keep going, but you go, throw something in there.
No, go ahead.
And then the other thing I was going to say too was that there are only so many discs in these guys' what do you call it, collection. And we've talked about hexes, we've talked about MVs, we've talked about craves. These are their flagship discs. So there's going to be a chance you're going to get a duplicate of those because they probably have more of those discs than they have of any other discs on the shelf. They probably make less relativities than they make hexes, guaranteed. So the chance that you got a duplicate hex, that's going to happen. I got a duplicate crave, that's going to happen. You had to expect those things. So I guess it's like anything, is what attitude did you go into this Gyropalooza experience with is what you're going to come out of it. And I went in with a positive, let's just see what happens. I'm just happy to be part of it. And sure enough, I'm happy with what came. I'm a little disappointed. Maybe I didn't get a time lapse, but that didn't ruin my experience with it. That's for sure.
Right. I agree with you. Maybe I have a little bit of a different take on it. I definitely think that first and foremost, they are mystery boxes. You pay your money, you take your chance. It could be anything. It could be, it's like the game shows. Do you want to gamble all your money that you've got, or do you want to do you want to take your money you've got, or do you want to gamble it for what's behind door number 3? Like,
I was going to say what's under the box, and that's a deep cut UHF reference, and I don't know if you watched that, but anyways, absolutely nothing. But keep going. No, sorry,
you've lost me on that one, Jeremy.
We'll put that link maybe in there too.
Okay, yeah. But you have to know that you have to understand that they are mystery boxes. They're not guaranteed boxes. You're lucky that in this year we got 5 guaranteed discs, and they were good discs. The little bit that I disagree with you is that they knew which 5 discs they were putting in. They knew they were putting in a hex. They knew they were putting in an MV. They knew they were putting in a glitch. They knew they were putting in the crave. Given that they knew they were putting in those guaranteed 5 discs, I'm not annoyed, but I could see where some people might be thinking, well, why do I, like, for example, like I've got 2 hexes in the box and you've got 2 craves
and 2
MVs. Yeah. Why would I want another disc of the one that's already in there? I don't need 2 of the same disc. Obviously, we've played it enough now that, especially other, maybe people that play it often will throw the disc so much that they become beat in. So then you get a brand new disc that flies differently to one that's been beat in. So you have those discs that are at different stabilities. So having multiple of one disc isn't a bad thing. But if you're paying for a mystery box, I would expect to have at least all the discs in there to be different. I'm not saying I would like to have 2 mid-ranges, 3 fairway drivers, and 1 distance drive. I'm not saying I would like anything in particular. I was a little bit disappointed that we had discs that were already in the guaranteed 5.
Gotcha. And that's a fair point. I can see what you're saying there. And I guess maybe where my less concern of that, although you've put a valid point, and I do agree with you, was you bought the box alone for yourself, which a lot of people will do. So I could see the frustration of that, to say, why do I got multiple discs? I think the fact that I split my box with Mark was just something that was almost an agreed upon thing. As soon as we found out we had the duplicates, it was, we're each getting a crave, we're each getting an MV. I already bagged 2 craves. There was no way I needed 4 craves. And I already bagged 1 MV, so I didn't need 3. So we did split them up that way. So maybe that's the nice thing about sharing it, or at least if you buy a box and a buddy buys a box, you can do some interchanging afterwards for some of those, because maybe they didn't get a duplicate and they want that. So
yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, that's a good thing. The other thing is that because we've done it this year now, like I did it last year, I didn't get any duplicates in the box that I got last year.
Okay.
So whether I got lucky or whether that was just the way they did it last year, obviously disc golf has increased for MVP. With sponsoring Simon and bringing Simon on board. Obviously their sales must have definitely gone through the roof, right? Because everybody wants to be like Simon. They want to throw what Simon throws. In a lot of his videos, he talks about the Tesla, that he thinks it's his most favorite MVP disc, I think.
Right. I have one.
So, Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that point, but
I think you were talking about the duplicates and kind of how that last box didn't have
yeah,
any and this one did.
just using it as an experience. Now that we know that there is a possibility that you might get to, and who knows, maybe once all the dust settles and MVP go through the the bad comments to good comments, and they get the feedback, and they know, okay, we kind of dropped the ball here a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we need to be a bit more clear, a bit more stringent, and not double up on the disc, because I can see them including the teleport and the octane, and maybe even the volt, things like that. Discs that not everybody wants to buy. So if they have them left over, and especially like the 2022 Tour Series discs, their last year's Tour Series disc. Maybe Matt Dollar isn't with them this year, or maybe he signed for somebody else, or maybe he's got a new stamp. Whatever the case is, they're going to have old stock that they need to get rid of to clear for new stock, right?
Right.
So getting rid of those discs, putting those discs in, I see it. But if they have extra hexes and extra craves, I don't see that to be one of those discs that, oh, we've got all this stock of hexes. We're never going to sell these. Like you said, hexes and craves, everybody throws because they're just that kind of that workhorse multi-use disc that everybody can throw on different shots, shapes, and everything. So they're always going to get rid of those. So to have those as duplicates, I don't think was, in my opinion, not the greatest.
Well, and as you say that, what could be done is you could almost take those three discs, your extra envies, your extra hexes, and your extra craves, and put those into like mystery starter packs where the only mystery is what color and what kind, like what color of them, what type of plastic are you getting, but you're going to get three solid discs, and so it's an envy, crave, hex. That part is known. What they look like and what plastic they are, that's the mystery that you're getting.
Yeah.
And that would be a great starter set, I think, for anybody who is just getting in and wanted to be introduced to MVP. Yeah. So maybe, hey guys, take this idea if you want.
Yeah. and even putting them in, because I got a glow hex, you got a glow envy.
Yes.
And I don't know if we got the glow crave but I mean, yeah, putting three discs in that are glow, saying this is your glow starter kit, this is your your regular starter kit, sort of thing. So yeah, there's ways, and obviously maybe somebody at MVP decided that'll be fine. Just randomize them. If someone gets two of the same disc in one box, then they got lucky. They got two hexes.
Yeah. And I guess my last point on the duplicates, I always say one last, but I probably got two last points. So, but one of them would be, if you're going to give somebody duplicates, and I think it did happen okay for us, is make sure they're not the same plastic is what it would be.
Yeah.
Like make sure one's a glow, one's a cosmic, one's a eclipse, or I guess glow is eclipse, but you know what I mean? Yeah. An R2, a neutron, a proton, whatever you get. But make sure the box has two different types of plastic. And then on top of that, the other point I wanted to make was, if you're going to duplicate, I know it was the MV, that's probably okay in the fact that it's a putter, because if the MV becomes my putter, as you get going on, you should have multiples of that putter if you're practicing, so that you're always getting that same feel for the throw. Now, not everybody putts that way, but that is a good way. So you're not just putting your one disc, going and retrieving it, putting again. Have a couple or 2, 3 of the same disc.
I do have one final point which just came to me, and I don't know. It's more for the evolution of these boxes. So I had a proxy, which was the guaranteed disc in last year's Gyropalooza, and I got a proxy in this year's Gyropalooza as well. It wasn't one of the guaranteed discs; it was the blue one that I got there. But it makes me think. These 5 discs that we got guaranteed this year, the Digital Gyropalooza 2024, what are they going to do for the guaranteed discs in 2024? Because if they guarantee you a crave, if they guarantee you a glitch, if they guarantee you a hex, maybe people are going to start thinking, well, I've already got those 3 discs because I got them last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have different stamps, and there's going to be a big percentage of people that just want them because they have the newest stamp on them, right?
They want to collect them maybe, or
Yeah, but I don't know how they. I mean, obviously, there's a lot that can happen in a year. MVP could come out with 2 or 3 more signature discs. Maybe next year it might be the Langholm Who knows what it could be, right? Might be a guaranteed pixel. Simon's new putter that's coming out next year. Different things like that. But the guaranteed discs, I think they were going to have to need to be different discs, because if they're the same glitch, envy, proxy, crave, hex, their people might start thinking, well, I've already got these discs, so really I'm just paying for the 5 or 6, 7, 8 mystery discs.
no.
And then if I'm looking at those mystery discs, and I know that 2 or 3 of them are going to be high-speed drivers that I'm not going to throw, well, now that narrows it down to 4 or 5 or 6 discs that I'm paying for. So why am I paying this $160 for 4 discs?
Right. So I guess in that case, it's a matter of, maybe that's with the sales, and that's the people who are just a little more experienced than you and I with the boxes, is that's why they're putting them up. Because then you say, okay, I'm going to put these discs up, even if I can get $15, $20 for the disc, whether it's worth more or not. If I can get that money back, it offsets it. Then maybe I go out and I buy that time lapse, or I buy that disc that I did want. So that's a good point about it. So maybe there's something to be said of MVP helping to create, I know we have a local group in that, but create a group for step 1, get your Gyropalooza box, get as excited as you can about all the discs you got in there. Step 2, go onto the exchange site and then exchange discs with other people for things that way. And then you're paying some shipping maybe, and you can start trading discs with other people.
I wonder, obviously I'm still in my first year, and I've bought 2 Gyropalooza boxes already, if you want to say full calendar year. You've been playing 2 years?
2, yeah.
2 years. This is your first Gyropalooza box, but you have opened up some other mystery boxes as well.
Yes, I have.
I wonder if, because I know a lot of people, when they get more advanced, or maybe into longer term of playing, they kind of settle on their bag and they know what discs work for them, and they don't need to buy any new discs because they've got their bag and then it's set up the way they want. So I wonder if these mystery boxes are more aimed at newer players, new people into the sport, because I don't see any long-term or experienced players getting excited over these boxes, because they know that, if I don't need to spend all that money on all of those discs. If I'm going to spend money, I'm going to want to fill those gaps in my bag, and I'll just buy those specific discs. So I wonder if there is, maybe they get a new market in every year. Where they're marketing, marketing them to are the beginner disc golfers, the people that are new to disc golf.
Yeah, that's a fair comment for sure, because you're right. If you're a really experienced disc golfer, you're just going to make sure to get the discs that you want. Unless, again, there was something like that detour is pretty cool, but would you buy a whole Gyropalooza box just to get that detour? If that was the only way you could do it, likely not. You just find one aftermarket online, something along those lines. So that's for sure. And you are correct. I have had a mystery box before that was just a straight up mystery box. And I know they did say there would be a mix of types of discs, so you didn't get all putters, say for example, that type of thing. But even with that mystery box, I still have a few of those discs, but I think I throw one maybe of them, one of the 5. So I don't know what the thoughts are when you do a mystery box that way. I think it gives you something new, gives you something to see, and you get some interesting discs that you might not have tried otherwise, but it's going to be hit and miss on whether you bag that one. But one more point with that, as you and I have found, is some of these discs we've gotten in our boxes are maybe ones we don't throw today, but maybe at the end of next year or the middle of next season, it's something that's the perfect sweet spot, because we're still learning how to throw and getting better at our throws. We're not the people on the disc golf form check saying, well, I'm throwing 375. Can you help me get to 400? That's not where we're at yet. I hope I can say that with honesty rather than mockingly, because right now we're like, I'm throwing about 225. Can you help me get to 250 consistently? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So maybe at that point, some of these bigger discs are ones we'll revisit, and that'll be part of, if this podcast we've got goes to next year and we do another Gyropalooza, we can recap what we're still throwing out of our 2023 bag, or box.
Absolutely. And it's a good point, because in my first Gyropalooza box, I bagged a Panic. I unboxed the Panic, which is a 14.5 speed, really overstable distance driver. And obviously as a beginner, I tried to throw it, and it was, when I would throw it backhand, it was more like a roller, because it would just dump over straight away. Right. And then every now and again, I would go back to it and revisit it and think, that's the disc that I need to try and work on to try and throw. I was throwing it forehand for a while because of its reliable reliable fade. But I'm still working on that. But when you say that in the time, as time advances, we find a sweet spot for it. And we did Bailey's 2 weeks ago, and it just happened to be that there's one hole where I can throw it, and I know it's going to reliably come back into the fairway. And it may not be the shot that you want to throw, but for me, it's more reliable to throw that shot and end up in the fairway than to actually go straight down the fairway, because it's quite narrow. So it's a disc that I wouldn't throw on a straight hole, or anything where I need to know where I need to land or feed myself through trees. But on that one particular hole, in that one particular shot, that's a disc that works for me. So who knows where these discs may fit into our bag or into our game once we get out to the field and throw them and see what they do.
That's right. Well, I think we've, as I said, this was going to be a Gyropalooza edition podcast, and I think we've really covered it all. So what I'd like our listeners to do, if they've made it this far, is I'd love for them to tell us what their thoughts are on the Gyropalooza box. What did they get in it? What did they like? What did they not like? What do they think about? Will they participate in it again next year? Those are all interesting things. Yeah.
Any thoughts in general about mystery boxes in general, not just Gyropalooza mystery boxes? Any kind of mystery box? What are your thoughts on not knowing what you're getting, so you're paying for the unknown?
Well, my thoughts are this. And I know this
I was asking the listeners, but okay, what are your thoughts?
Oh,
Jeremy?
You were asking the listeners. Oh, okay, yes, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, listeners. I thought I was the listener. But tell us your thoughts on that. I think, to cap my thought off at this point, I think if I get some discs for Christmas, as that's part of a present or something, that's great. But I don't even want to reveal the number of discs I have. Now, I've seen the pictures online where people have shelves and shelves and shelves of discs. That's not me. Yeah. But I'm getting to the point that I may not store all the discs in my car anymore, because there's a whole bunch that I need to store them somewhere else and then choose which ones I'm going to take with me. So at this point here, I think for those, it's like, I'm good. That Gyropalooza, half of that box, we'll just see what we get at tournaments next year. And unless something really comes out, maybe a time lapse, maybe that's what I'll get, but that will be the last disc for a while.
Yeah, I had a conversation with our buddy Mark just shortly before we came on here, and I said, I think we're at a point now where we don't need any more discs. If you look at your putter and approach, your mid, your fairways, your drivers, I think we've pretty much got an understable, neutral, and overstable disc in every category. So there shouldn't be a slot in that, in your bag that you can't fill with a disc. It just, you might find one that's a little bit understable. Maybe you want one a bit more overstable. You want it in a fairway and not a mid-range or whatever. But for the most part, I think we should be good by now.
For sure. Awesome. Well, that wraps episode 3 of the Chainout podcast. Thanks everybody for joining us.
I made it through.
You did.
A few little coughs and hiccups here, but I'm good. I made it through.
I think you really rallied through. Maybe this this podcasting energy that we've got is like a healing energy. That's what I'm going to say.
There you go. Yeah. Channeling my inner Phoebe Buffet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, till then, Smelly Cat says, "Chain out."
Chain out.